crazy how every day you get up, you go to work, you come home, and it's just like, it feels like time just wasted along sometimes for you when you feel like you got other things in life that you want to do. You know, I always hear about, you got to fight the good fight and all that good stuff, but you'd be like, gosh, dang, how much of a fight do I got to keep making? But that's like one of the hardest things ever in life, is to continue to keep believing that you're meant for something better, and that something better will happen for you. It's like you got to continue to just keep having faith. You got to continue to keep working towards it. You got to continue just to keep believing in your dreams, like no matter what happens. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy part. Hold on a minute, y'all. I'm literally just getting off work. That's why I said about fighting the good fight. Cause like, you just can't stop. You gotta just keep going. Because even when you think or feel like you're about to quit or want to quit, then all of a sudden things get better for you. Then it's all good, That's the crazy part. Like, I posted this video and other videos on my YouTube. But the crazy part is, I've been wanting to do a YouTube for like forever, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I've been wanting to do it for like a while, you know what I mean? But I think another problem, I'm kind of debating if I'm gonna post this on my YouTube or maybe post it on YouTube with my brother, on the Commonwealth page or whatever. But I don't know, I figure that out. But I've been wanting to do like YouTube content and stuff like that, and I've like worked on other pages, but those pages were like some gaming or me not really showing my face, because even though I feel like I'm a genuine person, and I feel like if people talk to me, they can really understand like what my dreams are and what I go through and how I feel. I just feel like sometimes I run into the problem of, I wouldn't even say imposter syndrome. I think I run into the problem of, what am I going to even talk about? Because I always feel like a lot of times me being me, people aren't going to want to see that. Like who's going to want to hear talk for 20-30 minutes about ideas, life, goals, what you want to do with yourself, how there's more things to life than just working, and how, no matter what you're going through, it's going to be better and you can have what you want, I sometimes talk myself out of things, and then sometimes I also make myself think, or I sometimes tell myself like, are people really going to care about that? But then I constantly get signs from people, like the Lord sends to my way, and they tell me like, hey Eric, man, I see what you're doing. You talk about your water, you give CPG information. I like that. You should just keep doing that. And they right, I just think sometimes that, like they said, you be having an imposter syndrome, because it's like, do I know enough? Am I good enough? But in all actuality, I do know enough. Like, I've done it for 5-6 years, even more. Working on my own water, working on my own products. And I think it's a lot of times it's all about just feeling comfortable getting out there and not feeling like you're the most known, knowledgeable person. And I think a lot of times with a lot of us, not even just me, it could be you or whatever you're doing, I think a lot of times we always feel like we get out there and then someone's going to challenge our beliefs or challenge us and say that we don't know anything. When all actuality, you're like, I do know things. I have studied. I have learned. I have took classes. I have been out in the field. I have been in the trenches. And, and a lot of times you just feel like, dang, you really don't want to go through that. So you try to keep it to a minimum. And then you look on the internet or anywhere else, you see people who've never even done it that are out there going hard, like Hulk Hogan hard, like Kobe hard in the fourth quarter, shooting up mad shots, because they don't really care what other people think. But a lot of times, those same people don't care what people think, even though they're giving out wrong information. Kind of like those people I see that be like those fake gurus and all that stuff, when they don't know what's going on, but they're taking stuff from other people's courses, acting like they've done it, but then they're hoaxing everybody and bamboozling everybody and trying to get over on everybody, which is just downright crazy in my opinion, because I just feel like you shouldn't really try to get over on people. You should really like help people, like, you know, give people good knowledge where they'll be like, dang, this helped me, you know, be a better person towards what I wanted to do. Like if I wanted to start this type of XYZ business, you giving me good information that I can use now to start that business, to go after that business, to make sure that I can put be successful starting or doing or running or buying that business. It's not just a whole bunch of close your eyes, manifest your ownership. I mean, that's all great because you got to be able to manifest what you want, and you got to be able to think it, because a lot of times the things that I want, I have to think it, read it every day so I could come bring it to me. But at the same time of me thinking, wanting, and bringing it to me, like me wanting, you know, my water to be in stores, me wanting my water to be, you know, a household name. I want all those things to happen, and I see it happening. But for me to get to that point, I still gotta go put the work in. I still gotta go find distributors. I still gotta go buy the product. I still gotta eventually get my product back from the person that I bought it from. You know, things like that. So it's almost like, it's like they go hand in hand. 6.5 dozen, they call it, if I'm saying it right. It's like you gotta see it every day on your board. You gotta envision on your board. But at the same time as seeing on your board every day and wanting to go for it, you also gotta put the work in to go get it, you know? And I think a lot of times people don't do that. People don't do that at all. And they just kind of like, yo, if I just manifest it, it'll come to me. And manifestation works, and I'm a firm believer of like what it says with what God says, like speaking things into existence, having power over your situation, speaking life into it. You know, I try to make sure I do that every day, like speak life. Like, okay, right now we'll take a moment and I'm gonna speak life. I speak life into all the videos I do on YouTube, so that when people see them, they'll think, no, not think, so that I speak life into all the videos I'm doing on YouTube, so that when you guys see them, you guys will see that Eric is a genuine person, and he really just wants to help and have great conversation, and that you won't laugh me out the room. You know, stuff like that. But real, you know, that's really what I really be feeling like. So I'm gonna speak life into, when you see my videos, you'll enjoy them like I enjoy doing them. You'll like them. You'll want more. And okay, I'm back. I had an alarm cut my phone off. So like I said before, when you see these videos, you'll see them. And I'm speaking life that every video that you watch of mine, it'll be uplifting. It'll empower you. You'll see it. You'll like it. You'll like how I'm a genuine person, and I'm looking to help, and I want to have good conversation and dialogue. And you'll see that I'm just like you know, every day going after my goals and going after my dreams and going after, you know, a legacy of myself. So I'm speaking life that you will see these things when you hear me speak, and that you will relate to everything I'm saying, and we can have dialogue, conversation. So I speak life into it. I claim it. I claim authority over it. So thank you, Lord. So that's the type of manifesting I do. Some people manifest in a way where like they write it down, they say it, because it's the same thing, but you can also speak life into it. Like I speak life into this, or I'm claiming this, you know what I'm saying? Like I could be like, I speak authority over my situation. I speak authority over my job situation. So my job situation will be better, and I'll be making 6 figures, and I'll be having a job, work from home. You know, you speaking life into that situation. Or I speak authority over my water, that my water will be a household name, that Jimmy will give me my water by the end of the week. I speak authority that my water will come at the end of the week after waiting 6 or 7 months for it now. I speak authority over that situation, that my water will be here. You know, that's me speaking life into that, which that's a true thing. I've been waiting 6 or 7 months for my water, but that's another story. But yeah, like it's crazy because I was recording, and I got all these alarms on my phone, and my phone, it just cut my phone off, literally cut it off. So it's crazy. It's real crazy about that. But yeah, like I know it's like a lot of times when people are like recording in their car, they have those little things that sit up on the dash, and I guess they turn it sideways to record. I wonder if I should turn it sideways, because right now this is vertical, and I don't know. But if I turn it sideways, then you'll be seeing everything. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep it like this, and then when I go out tonight, I might turn it vertical, and then we can see about how that goes with that. But who knows? I mean, I'll deal with all that later. But yeah, like I was saying before, I just feel like a lot of times in life, when I'm driving home, my mind has visions of all the things that I want to do in my life and all the things I see myself doing, and I just be like, I be thinking about that Instagram part where it be like, can we skip to the good parts? You know what I'm saying? That's why I be thinking, like, can I skip to the good part of this or whatever? And then, you know, you got to really have it in your mind that that's going to happen, because, you know, at one point, like one point before I kind of got better in faith and, you know, praying more, I used to always be like, is it going to happen? Or is it just going to be a constant cycle of me, job after job, going after my dream, working these jobs that I don't like, that I don't have a future doing, because this isn't my calling, this isn't what I want to do, and will I ever get to the promised land of me being my own full-time entrepreneur, doing me, living out my dreams, having the freedom I want to go do this, hang out with my family, be at home, you know, doing things that help me create a legacy for my next kids, you know, my seeds and things like that. So, you know, I got all that out of my head, because that's ain't nothing but negativity from the devil. But it can creep into your mind. It can make you feel like, dang, is this really gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? So, but you really gotta talk to yourself. You really gotta pray, or, you know, whatever you feel like, meditation, manifesting, or whatever that you feel like doing. I'm a prayer. I read scripture. That's me. That's my whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best Christian in the world, best child of God in the world. I'm not. I still make mistakes. But I do know the Lord loves me, so I'm going to make sure I pray. And I'm going to make sure that I always understand that God can remove those negative thoughts. You know, I rebuke them. God can't help me change my way of thinking and understand that I'm living in the kingdom, and anything that I want, the Lord will give it to me if I sow into the kingdom. As long as I keep sowing, things will happen. It just takes time for things to work behind the scenes for me to be blessed, you know. And I've seen those things happen. You know, I've sowed, you know, I've paid more than just my tithes, and I've seen the blessing of the Lord happen. So I'm a believer. Once I've seen it, it's like, just keep on going. The more you give them, the more better things happen for you. So with all that being said, I just feel like I'm just trying to create the mindset or the life that I want to live, and not just be content with just feeling like, well, everybody else is doing it, so I can never do it, or everybody else is doing it, so it's not being done. When I've seen people I know personally that just dropped their nuts and just jumped out there and they did it, you know, because they constantly kept posting, and regardless of people believed in them, they made it happen. And I think, like I said before, a lot of times it's just getting out of your mind, or getting out of, you know, how you feel, because, you know, like, if I had to say, Eric, who are you? I would say Eric. Eric is a CPG lover. Eric is a guy that's created his own water. Eric is a guy that wants to create his own barbecue sauce, wants to create his own energy drink, wants to create his own candy, wants to create his own popcorn, and have a stable of CPG products where he has his own P&G thing going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would consider myself to be. So, but to get to that point where I have a stable of CPG products that I've created and I have passion for, that I've written down, that I've researched, that I've been around, that I know can do well, you got to have the capital to get there. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to have the insight to get there. And I think a lot of times when I'm driving home, I have this, like I told y'all before, I see everything in my mind. Like, some people dream while they sleep. I dream while I'm awake. And it frustrates me so much, because I see so much stuff that I could do and I could have, but it's just all about getting there, having a plan to get in there, having a strategy to get in there, you know, being focused. And I think sometimes my focus is all over the place. Like I want to do so much at one time, because I'm like, I got to seize the moment. But when all actuality, sometimes you got to focus on one thing and just do that. And I think I struggle with that sometimes, you know. And that's why I'm like, that's why I gotta be the Jay-Z's and all them. I gotta have a team. I'm ready. Because I know if I had a team of people, then the ideas that I want to do, it'd be like boom, 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 all good, all successful. Because a lot of times people do things that are out their wheelhouse. Like when you see some rappers or actors try to start a CPG label or try to start a clothing brand and it don't do well because they don't understand it or don't understand what it takes. Like me, the things that I want to do, they're not out my wheelhouse because I understand CPG products. I understand, you know, the dynamics, the data, you know, what you know is needed, what needs to go there, things like that. How you will market it, who you would attack, how you would get there, how you would be efficient. You know, it's just all about having the cash to get there, and then all about having the ability to, you know, make it happen. You know, make it happen. Be able to put your time into this, because, you know, Ice Cube said it best. You know, sometimes you got to be willing to put 3, 4, 5 years into something for something to even happens. You know, and that's the crazy part. You know, are you willing to put that much time into something that hasn't happened yet, or ones if it doesn't happen? Like, I remember at one point, before I started my water, I was working on this website called Looks for Cooks. It was a dating website. It's a great idea, great premise, but it never really took off like I wanted. And I think I ignored a lot of the signs, and I think the Lord was giving me multiple signs, but I kept ignoring them. Like, one, I could never find a developer to actually finish the site. Or they did, it didn't work correct. Or when I talked to them, they said they could do it, but they really couldn't do it because they didn't understand, or they couldn't do it right. Or they would jerk me around. I had one developer from Memphis. He jerked me around. It just kept jerking me around, and I was like, what the freak? Why? Like, here's the thing that makes me mad. I don't like when people jerk me around, because if I pay you, why jerk me around? Won't you just tell me you can't do it and just pay me my money back instead of trying to jerk me around? But I realize a lot of people, when you do business with them, they'll try to jerk you around in hopes that you'll just forget about their site and they won't answer your phone calls and just say that they got you. But I realized after a last little incident I had with one developer before, and how it took me forever to get my money back, that I had to start paying people on a credit card. Now, I know some people might, if you're on the Dave Ramsey plan or whatever, you know, that you're like, I don't use credit cards. Well, it comes in handy for those type of situations, because what happened was he kept jerking me around, right? And I never got my stuff, so I went to my credit card company and I showed them all the emails, filed a fraudulent complaint, got all my money back, and it was a good $3,500 or whatever. So I was happy about it. But the dude, a fraud, some cat out of Memphis. I forgot his name. I don't know if it's meant something. I can't remember his name. If I can remember his name, I'll let y'all know. But he's a fraud. I don't care. And then I had another cat. He stopped completely just when I was in Atlanta. And then I had another guy I was working on. He was based in Jamaica. He agreed to one. And this is another thing I don't like with people. When people agree to a price and then try to double back and change the price. It's like, bro, you agreed to this price. So if you agree to the price, you need to stick to the price. So I worked with another dude. He was living here and he moved to Jamaica. And I was paying him like $400 a week, which kind of reminds me, I should have asked for my money back on that project, but I don't think I ever did ask for my money back on that one. I don't know why I didn't. I really should have got my money back, because he never ever finished the project. So I should have got my money back. I should have went and did a counterclaim, because I know I paid him at least $1,200. I should have got my money back on that. Crap. See? Dang, it's too late now, but I should have. But I know but he never even finished it, because at one point I paid him 2-3 payments, and then this fool gonna hit me with a, well, Eric, I need more money. I'm like, bro, you agreed to this deal. And me being me, trying to get the project off the ground, I was like, nah, I wanted to do it, and then I think I agreed to it. But right before I'm about to go on with some more, I think I ended up reading this book by a dude named Edward Lerner. He started a dating site on Facebook back when Facebook was just starting off, and I think it was called The Facebook. And like, I think his dating site was connected to Facebook, so that's how they got a lot of members. Anyways, he had the book. I reached out to him like on a whim, asked if he could talk, and he was like, yeah, we could talk. And then I asked him, I was like, yo, if you could do it all, we talked about the dating site, he talked about it, because, you know, he made a lot of money, but the problem was while they were making money, he never took no money out. So when the company went bankrupt or fell out because he didn't take the extra funding, he ended up not getting no money to cash out on him, which was crazy because I would have took some money. But hey, you know, each his own, whatever. So I'm talking to him on the phone while I'm at work. I'm in the lobby, and I'm like point blank, I'm like, I see you doing, you know, you did the dating site, you did all that stuff like that. And I just asked him straight up, I was like, yo, if you could do it all over again, you know, would you start another dating site? He says like, no. If I could do it all over again, I would not do this. This job is, dating websites are not it. He said they're strictly like people are nature's people. He said people are habitats of nature, creatures of nature. He said people are creatures of nature, meaning that people that go on dating sites, they don't venture off to too many new dating sites. They only use the main three. They only use Match, eHarmony, Tinder, Bumble. They very rarely use the new people. And the people that do use those sites, he said it costs a lot of money for people to get on Bumble. And then that's when he was like, I was like, yeah, because I remember reading, like, you know, Whitney Wolf had to give like 80% of her company to the dude in London that had the big dating site. He was like, yeah, because if she didn't, she wouldn't be able to have Bumble be what it is now, because you know, you need the money. When it comes to online dating, you have to have the money to promote. You have to have the money to constantly be in people's faces, because people are, like you said, creatures of nature, habitats of nature, creatures of nature. I don't know if I'm saying it right. The freak, bro. I don't know how people can't drive. I don't know how I'm saying it right, and I'm the one talking. I'm recording myself while I'm driving. Whatever. I don't think I'm saying it right. We were habitats of nature, creatures of nature. I'm not saying it right, but the point we're trying to say is people don't like to change. So since they don't like to change, what's gonna make you change? You have to constantly be in that face, constantly, always be marketing, and you need that money. And he was right. With Bumble, they had so much stuff going on. Bumble's at school, Bumble ambassadors, this, that. Like, you constantly gotta be in people's faces. It ain't like you just running a Facebook ad and you getting a group of people and they getting on board with what you're doing. It ain't working like that. It's like you gotta constantly be in people's faces about what you're doing and constantly show people about why they need to switch from that other dating app to your app. So once he told me that, I let that idea alone, but I spent so much time, so much money. I think I was working on Lucifer Cooks for like 4 years. I spent so much time, so much money. So that's why it hurts now when I work on stuff now, because I'm like, I spent so much time, I spent so much wasted time on that. And I should have known, I should have listened and been like, got out, because it'd been different if I like was in that space and worked in that space and knew what was going on. But I just was a guy that had a good idea, that when I told people about the idea, they're like, this idea is great. But the problem was, you gotta have the funding for that. And I don't know if you know, but it's hard for black people to get funded. Like, I don't know how many competitions I applied for, pitches, applied for, all kind of stuff. Didn't work out. So, and then I started doing the water, and you know, by the blessings of the Lord, it started taking off. People were buying the water like this, like that. So it just goes to show me the water is my calling, because I know the CPG space. You know, I've worked in it, I work in it, you know, work in it now, and I just kind of understand a lot better about it from you know, the dating side or whatever. But I say all that to say, like, sometimes we got to know when to tap out on stuff. Because I really didn't want to tap out, because I think my whole mindset, I've always had a mindset of, you know, you start something, you finish it. But sometimes some things that you start aren't going to be things you're going to be able to finish, and you got to be willing to tap out, save your grace and dignity, and move on to something else. So, which I'm glad I did, because I remember jumping into like another incubator for my water, and seeing this girl, I think this Asian girl, she was creating a dating site for like Asians to meet, and I was just like, man, it ain't gonna be successful, because it's gonna cost you too much money to run this. But I didn't get a chance to talk to her. I didn't get a chance to talk to her at all, but if I had got a chance to talk to her, I would have told her about it. But I didn't. I think my window's locked. Yep, my window was locked. How am I lock my own window for myself? Don't make no sense. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to her because she ended up jumping out of the incubator early. So, but if I had got a chance to talk to her, I would have told her. I was like, yo, just be prepared, man. It's gonna cost a lot of money. Like, it costs a lot of money to run a dating site. Like, the equivalent of running a dating site is like the equivalent of like, there's no equivalent for that. The money that you'll spend on running a dating site, you can literally get your own CPG brand off the ground and probably be making about $100,000 a month. Because just already on the marketing for a dating site, you're gonna be spending almost, if you want it to be successful at that level, you're gonna be spending almost $3 to about $5 million, maybe a year, maybe more than that in a year. You know, you're gonna be spending almost $200,000 a month, I know, on just ads, and you got to make sure you do everything correctly. So, and that's another thing about CPGs. Like, whenever I get that funding, and I have to like get it to go, I know exactly how to get boots on the ground, how to get people to attack, how to get people to drive to the stores. You know, I learned all that when I worked at Monster. I learned all that when I worked at Code, when I worked at Suja. You know, I learned a lot when I worked at Strive. You know, I learned a lot of that different stuff. So it's like, I understand the game. Now it's just all about having the finances to get there to the game, to make my dreams a reality, you know? So it's just crazy. And and that, like, I go back to my part before when I said, like, I see so much stuff when I'm driving home, and I see it when I'm driving, like my dreams. And I just, you know, I guess today, kind of just told myself, like, I saw something, it was like, yeah, man, this person, he just being himself. And I was like, man, I should just be myself. I was like, I think I'm too busy trying to show people that I have a cool life instead of just be myself. And I think my whole thing is, in my mind, this is what I think. This is my mind, hear me out. I'm like, I'm not doing anything special. I drive home, I hang out with my kids, hang out with First Lady, I work on my business, I do a lot of self-talking to myself, and, you know, and in my mind, I be thinking, like, who's gonna think that's cool? I think a lot of people are gonna probably think, like, okay, you gonna do any tricks? You gonna do some dancing or something? That's what I be thinking. But then I have to realize, like, when I see the video I saw today, where it's like a person just being themselves and people relating, it just kind of made me realize, like, yo, I can be myself, and myself is just talking about what my thoughts are, how I feel. Ooh, it's getting hot up here now. How I feel, what I think, and just kind of just being a normal person that's cool with just not getting out there and trying to dance you to death or magically impress you all the time, but just being myself. And myself is just a person that's, I forgot the word, but it's a person that's an extrovert and an introvert. Because, you know, sometimes I have my moments where I'm shy. Like, and it's crazy. Like, I tell people be like, yeah, right. But I have my moments, like, when I'm, like, shy. And, like, recording myself, that's not a moment where I'm shy. But I'm more shy about, like, trying to sustain. Because I feel like a lot of times I don't do things because, like I was telling my brother, my brother was on YouTube, like, doing videos back when YouTube wasn't even a thing. I think my brother was on YouTube back in 2005. My brother's been on YouTube. Let me rephrase that. He was on YouTube back when you could get on YouTube without having to have a Gmail password. That's how old he's been on YouTube. But the problem is, he did YouTube videos, but it wasn't consistent. He stopped at one point. And back then, you used to be able to post videos, didn't have to have, you don't copyright claims, none of that stuff. I remember us getting a lot of videos. We weren't monetized. We didn't know none of that stuff. None of that. So I say all that to say, like, damn, I forgot my point I was trying to say. Oh, I say all that to say, like, I used to record videos and stuff like that with my brother, and that was all good, but it was just like, we would have segments, and it would just be like a couple episodes here and there, but nothing was consistent. You know what I'm saying? And I think now that's another one of my problems now is, like, I be wanting to do certain things. Like, at one point I had a CPG, I feel like I want to take my shoes off right now. I don't know why. I kind of feel like I do. At one point, I was posting CPG, like, tips on my Instagram page. And then it was going good. And then I don't know what happened. I think I got discouraged myself because I felt like maybe my tips aren't good enough. Maybe people aren't liking it. Maybe I need to go to more long-form stuff. And a lot of times it's me talking myself out of it or me getting discouraged because in my mind, that's how I always think, like, am I going to be able to be consistent? Because that's at the end of the day, it's all about, are you consistent? Because if you're not consistent, that stops everything. And I think a lot of times some of the stuff I be wanting to do, like either this or anything else, it's like I'm not consistent. And so because of that, it throws the whole loop off of what I'm doing because I'm not consistent. And it just it blows me a lot of times. It really does. It really blows me a lot because I'm just not consistent. And or this is another thing. When I was doing the CPG thing, I was like, where am I going for the long haul? Like, I can't think of enough information to talk about. So then I'll be like, I'm tapped out. I got to stop. And I think a lot of the people that are great on Instagram that I see, doing like the content, it's like they have an idea and they have continuous content on different stuff that they talk about. And I think that was one of my main problems is that I didn't really know, like, where am I going with this? Like when I was giving the CPG tips and all that, I was like, where am I going with this? Am I just going to continue to give 60 less than a minute tips? Like, am I going to do a podcast? Because I really wanted to do a podcast. And the CPG podcast was going to be on me discussing CPG brands and how they started, how they grew, and, the falls they went through. And then, boom, how they blew up. Things like that. And then I really wanted it to also be, if I couldn't, I wanted it first to be me interviewing people in person, kind of talking to them about their CPG brand, like, and if you don't know what CPG brand is, CPG stands for consumer packaged goods. So consumer packaged goods are like Coca-Cola, the Tide deodorant, like this Carl's mix. This is a CPG. Because it's all consumer packaged goods. My water, that's CPG. Do I have any in my car? Nope, I think I may have drunk it all. Oh, nope, I do. Nope, I don't. That's something else. So I don't have any water in my car. I think I drunk it all. But yeah, that's CPG. So my original idea was like, I want to talk to like the people who created CPG products. Whether it be like consumer packaged goods, people that makeup, whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying? Because those are fast-moving goods depending on how you brand them, but that's another thing. And then I was like, well, if I can interview people, maybe just do like a synopsis like I was doing on my podcast. Because I don't know if y'all know, I had a podcast at one point, and I thought that was my calling, but I could never get it to take off. I mean, maybe I should advertise more, but I did like over 300 episodes. It's called Life and Times Air Podcast, and then season 1 was just a lot about motivation and finding your motivation. And I think season 2 was about if you wanted to leave your job, but no, season 2 was about having your job but still go after your dreams. So if you wanted to work your job but go after your dreams, I gave a lot of tips on that. And then I also discussed different people who were successful in businesses. And it was going to be like that, discussing people with CPG, people that are successful in the CPG business, like I said before, with pitfalls and all that different stuff. So I thought about all that, but then I stopped because I'm like, I'm all over the place. Because I wanted to do that, wanted to do YouTube channels, wanted to do my water. And then at some point, it's just like, when do you say to yourself, Eric, you're only stretched so much and you can't do it all? Those are the type of things that you really have to say to yourself. And that's one of the problems I run into. It's like I said before, having all these great ideas, wanting to do more, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, but really don't have the time to be doing all that. Really not having the ability to do all that because, one, your time is stretched. Oh man, I should have went to the next turn. I should have went to the quick trip turn. I know that turn. Oh well, so now we're gonna figure this out by memory. Since I moved, figuring this all out by memory is what it is. But all that boils down to just the time aspect. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how much time do you have, Eric? Can you do this, Eric? What does this look like? And that's the thing, like, because, a lot of people say all the time, if you want to be successful, you got to focus on one thing and hit that one thing. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing too many things, you're not going to be successful when you're doing too many things. So it's like, it's one of them type of situations where you got to be hitting one thing if you want to be successful. Okay, I'm going the right way. I remember this dip from yesterday. And that's one of the problems I was running into. It's like, what's that one thing I'm going to focus on to do? And I want to do my water, which I do. But the problem is I gotta figure out how to get some funding, because, like, man, I be seeing these companies that I applied to because I gotta have the funds to go after them. And it's like, they like, I started a company and I sold that company and now I have the funds to do this. But when I started that first company, I got all this money from my parents and this and that. Because I don't know if y'all know, but to be on the shelf, it costs a lot of money. Like, a lot of money. Like, to have a successful CPG business, the beginning, like the beverage whisperer guy said, you're gonna need about 1 or 2 million, 2 to 3 million to get on the shelf. And then from there, you need to be opening yourself up for more investors. And then when you open yourself up more investors, they're gonna take more piece of the pie and things like that. So I always, like I tell my first lady, I was like, yo, the next product I do is gotta be straight direct to consumer. You know what I'm saying? Unless I've already sold, my first business, because direct to consumer products, I don't really gotta do too much. All I gotta do is put the ad on, run the Facebook, Instagram ad, influencer ad, and then boom, they buy, boom, ship it right to them, boom, ship it right to them. With my water, I can ship it to people, which I'm doing now, and sometimes selling in person. But the thing about that is you still got to be able to go in person and buy it, because people like the impromptu buy. People like to go to the store and buy it. People don't always want everything shipped to them. So that's another problem I run into, because every time I always ask, like, where can I pick it up? Where can I pick it up? And me not being in the stores is like a killer for me. So it's very, I don't want to say this word, but it is. It's very depressing at times, because I'm like, kind of wondering, like, if this is something else I also need to just stop doing, and kind of wondering if I move on to something else. But I just feel like I never really gave it. I do feel like I do feel like I've given it the time, but I haven't been able to give it the proper time in the last 9 months, due to the simple fact that one of the guys I was buying water from, I paid him 7 months ago for my water, and I still haven't received it. So I've literally had no money, no way of advertising, haven't been able to do anything. I've sold some water, but I have to keep it to a minimum because I don't have any water. And it just kills me inside, as we go forward on this day, November, what's today? The 17th, I forgot, today's Founders Day, root to the bros. It just kills me on November 17th that I paid this man back in May, and it's November 17th, and I still don't have my water. And then I never get any updates. I never get anything, and every time I call him or text him, he avoids my calls and my texts and act like I'm the problem. That's what really bothers me the most. Act like I'm the problem, like it's my fault. Like, I paid you when you asked me to pay you. I didn't avoid paying you. I paid you everything. And then for you to be like, oh, it's 6-7 months and I ain't got my water, that's a problem. And don't get me wrong, the whole situation played out. He had a fire, you know what I'm saying? It set him back, and I understand that, but this long, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months, it take that long? I know you got a fire, but still though, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, he the only one that lost something. I had 3 pallets of water at the place that he had a fire, and then he lost his stuff that he had, like he was working on for Walmart, and he got set back. But I lost my pallets of water as well too. So I had nothing to sell or be able to push to anybody. Then on top of that, the pallets of water that I did lost, he ended up claiming my stuff on the insurance. So he told me that the $7,000 that was gonna cost me to get my 9 pallets, because he's a new bottler, and I paid him $2,100 down payment. He was like, don't worry about the other half because I cover you. I always wonder, like, while I'm waiting, how much did you say the water was worth that you ended up could have doubled it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you say my 5 is good, but did you turn around and say each one of them pallets was worth 3 and got 9, and so you got extra 2? You know what I'm saying? These type of stuff I be wondering about. But it just aggravates me because I feel like I do good business with people, and then people go and do bad business with me. And I'd be like, it'd be different if I didn't pay you and I was just not answering. Nah, I'm paying them, I answer them, I call them, I text them, I email, don't get no response. Say if I call them on Monday, I won't hear nothing back from them about 2 weeks. And I know I've told some people my situation, and they be like, yo, you should just, pull the card, call fraud, get your money back. But the problem is, I waited so long, like after 3-4 months, when I'm waiting and he keeps telling me it's coming, you wait so long, it's like you pull your money to get your money back. Now you got to start all over in hopes that, you'll get it back. Or you wait and you're hoping that you get it. Like, it is just, at this point now, it's like I really want to pull it, but it's like, wait. So, First Lady, she told me I need to wait until December, but we almost in December, and then December comes and I don't got my water, bro, I'm going to have to pull the call and call fraud on this, bro. This don't make no sense, because this is 7 months, and at this point, it's going to be a wash, because, like 7 months now, this don't make no sense. This literally don't make no sense for me to have to wait this long. 7 months for pallets of water. Talking about we're almost close. Nah, bro. And then like I was telling my other partner, I got a business. It would be different, right, if he was giving me updates and letting me know what was going on. But he's not doing that. He's not doing any of that. I have to call. I have to text him. I have to try to find him. And then when I do that, he doesn't even respond. Like I say, if I call today, or if I call on Monday or whatever, look at me scratch my nose. I might not hear from him for another 2 weeks. And it'll be a random, like, we're getting close. Like, bro, what the freak, bro? That's not how you do good business. So, but whatever, man. At this point, I just want my water and go on about my business. Because I've learned now that the problem that and some of y'all might be going through this too. And I had to realize too, I had to face this problem, and I've been dealing with it a lot myself. Sometimes you think that things are out of your reach, but things aren't out of your reach. Your mind's just making you feel like that. And I think this whole process has shown me that the things that I thought were out of my reach, they aren't. It's just the simple fact that I gotta ask, because a lot of things that I thought I couldn't have, I can have. Like I was thinking before, like, man, some of these brokers, they're gonna want an arm and a leg, and I ain't got the money. I don't got the money. But then while I'm waiting, I'm researching and looking at these brokers and seeing them online. They're like, yeah, we charge a monthly retainer, or we take a percentage of your sales. And I'm like, okay, cool. So which means is, if you take a percentage of my sales, that means you got to be selling. So hey, you produce, yeah, you can get a cut of the profit. So it just made me realize that a lot of times I was over here thinking that I wasn't ready enough, or not even ready enough. I didn't have the money. When in all actuality, it's not even about that. It's about me just getting out there and asking the proper questions and being prepared and just not being scared no more, and of me wanting to, go for it with my dream. So, yeah, I've learned that during this whole process of waiting for my water, which I'm glad I did. And another thing I learned, which I didn't think I was big enough, but I realized you got to have 2 distributors. In case one acts up, you got to have a backup. I still have my other guys that I did work with, but you got to have more than one just in case one acts up. And I didn't think I was going to need more than one, because I thought this guy was going to do right. But this has shown me that, you can hang out with people for months leading up to this, and then they can all of a sudden just double cross you. I'm not even say double cross you, because I'm going to get my water, but they could just leave you stranded and not respond to no more of your calls, texts, or emails no more. So, but yeah. But, it was good talking to y'all. And then we'll do this again later on, because I'm going to come back and we're going to get ready to go out. It's our Founders Day. We're going to hang out. So we're going to do some more talking. All right. Yeah. All right. So we'll talk later. Eric out.